Android.
Now at 5, a Southeast Kansas double murder trial moves to jury deliberation today. Plus, Pittsburgh leaders discuss legislative priorities at a chamber send-off event.
Leaders are asking for calm as protesters are calling for more demonstrations here in Portland. I'm Gwen Baumgartner with the developing case after 2 people were shot by Border Patrol agents.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A jury now decides the fate of Kyle Butts in his double murder trial. This is KOAM News. I'm Tanya Bach. KOAM's Mitch Adams joins us live in studio with the latest.
Thanks, Tanya. Today was day 5 of the trial of Kyle Lynn Butts, who is accused of the shooting deaths of 59-year-old Craig Gwynn of Pineville, Missouri, and 47-year-old Jeremy Murphy of Anderson, Missouri, that occurred in Baxter Springs, Kansas in 2022. He's also charged with the attempted murder of then 27-year-old Seth Gwynn from Pineville as well. Both the prosecution and defense presented closing arguments today. The defense closed their arguments by restating the murder was not premeditated and was out of self-defense. The defense also noted Butts' mental health conditions as a factor to consider for the jury while deliberating the verdict. On the opposing side, the prosecution argues that Butts, quote, selected his targets and shot them with the intention of ending their lives. They also argue that gunshot wound locations on the victims were not consistent with a self-defense motive. The case has been sent to the jury for deliberation, and with many people inside of the courthouse waiting to be allowed back into the courtroom for the verdict. We'll have an update for you as soon as we get more information from the courthouse in Cherokee County. Back to you, Tanya.
All right, Mitch, thanks. Well, authorities need your help identifying 2 people who caused thousands of dollars in damage to the Jasper County Court building on South Pearl Street in Joplin. The suspects crashed electric scooters into the building's pillars on December 16th. The suspect vehicle was spotted at the Liberty parking garage at 6th and Wall. If you recognize these individuals, contact the Jasper County Sheriff's Office. Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce hosts a legislative send-off at the Alumni Center today. Community members gathered to hear priorities from elected officials as the Kansas legislative session approaches. The chamber says it will continue its support for state funding for Pittsburgh State University and for transportation projects throughout Southeast Kansas. Lawmakers share their focus areas for the upcoming session.
Well, I don't have a particular personal agenda. There are some issues related to health care, pharmacies, some contract negotiation type things that I've got some bills drafted for. Other than that, it's just trying to help manage the whole thing.
Lawmakers plan to support hospitals, nursing homes, and daycare facilities. Despite growth, high poverty levels remain a concern for the region. And creating private sector jobs continues as a top priority for Southeast Kansas. Missouri lawmakers are back at the Capitol as the new legislative session gets underway, and one of the biggest issues already drawing attention is the future of the state income tax. Governor Mike Kehoe is backing a plan that would eventually phase out Missouri's personal income tax altogether. Supporters argue the move could attract businesses and boost economic growth, while critics warn it could significantly reduce state revenue and impact funding for schools, infrastructure, and public services. Lawmakers are expected to debate the proposal in the weeks ahead. Meteorologist Austin Stantz joins us now with a first look at weather.
Yeah, hey Tanya, TGIF. Take a look at this sunset tonight here on this Friday. Notice cloud cover beginning to increase. That's going to be the story as we head into the evening tonight. Cloud cover increasing. 52 degrees, a bit cooler outside right now. Winds out of the northeast around 6 miles per hour. How much cooler, you might ask? Well, just 24 hours ago, we were anywhere from about 10 to 20 degrees warmer across the region at this time. Now, heading into this evening, winds going to begin to pick up as we head into the overnight hours as a cold front looks to pass through. Winds could gust 20-25 miles per hour, and a brief sprinkle or two can't be completely ruled out. But coming up, we're going to get a look at your full weekend forecast and what Mother Nature has in store for us next week. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Austin. Authorities in Oregon are investigating a shooting that involved federal agents in Portland on Thursday. Police say officers shot and injured a husband and wife during a targeted vehicle stop with suspected ties to a Venezuelan gang. Both victims were hospitalized, but their conditions are unclear. Gwen Baumgartner reports from Portland.
Homeland Security officials have released the identities of the two people shot and injured by Border Patrol agents during a targeted vehicle stop in Portland.
It looks like Kohler saying that he was shot twice by ICE and his wife was shot as well.
In a statement on X Friday morning, DHS officials identified the driver as Luis David Nico Moncada and the passenger as Yorlenis Besabeth Zambrano Contreras. They say both were, quote, criminal illegal aliens and suspected associates of the Venezuelan Tren de Aragua gang, adding the couple, quote, weaponized their vehicle against Border Patrol. The agent took immediate action to defend himself and others, shooting them.
We know what the federal government says happened here. There was a time when we could take them at their word. That time is long past.
According to DHS, the pair then fled the scene. The victims called 911 and were found more than 2 miles from where the incident happened and were taken to the hospital. While local leaders here in Portland are calling for calm, they're also demanding that ICE halt all of its operations in the city until the investigation is complete.
Portland is not a training ground for militarized agents.
We do not need you. You're not welcome. And you need to get the hell out of our community.
The incident comes just one day after an ICE agent shot and killed a woman in Minneapolis, sparking protests across the country.
It's just been chaos. People, the community is trying to get answers.
I'm saddened that we are here once again in a difficult, challenging, complex situation.
Demonstrators are planning to gather again outside the ICE facility in Portland in the wake of the shootings. Gwen Baumgardner, CBS News, Portland.
At least 6 people were arrested outside the Portland ICE facility on Thursday. The state attorney general has already launched an investigation into the shooting there. Well, still ahead, the latest jobs report.
Employers deliver a mixed bag to close out the year. I'm Evan Moon with the latest jobs report and what analysts say the data means for the year ahead.
And next in Health Watch, from beauty tips to beating addiction, how a social media star is using her platform to help others quit vaping. Topping today's Health Watch, today is National Quitters Day, the second Friday in January when many people abandon their New Year's resolutions. A new survey shows more than 2/3 of nicotine users ages 18 to 24 plan to quit for their 2026 resolution. But as Bradley Blackburn shows us, for those who vape or smoke cigarettes, it can be far more difficult to stop than to start.
Because it blends so well.
Tyler Kidd is a social media influencer with millions of viewers, but she swapped her normal subjects of skincare, hair, and makeup for a different message.
Let's be honest. Raise your hand if you've ever tried to quit vaping.
Now 25, she started vaping in college, but knew the habit wasn't healthy.
Inhaling anything, putting anything into your body that way, I feel like it's not going to benefit you. It won't benefit you in the long run.
She'd tried and failed to quit before, but last year turned to a free program called X from the Truth Initiative. Using text messages, it delivers tools like tracking, motivational tips, and accountability reminders from a digital buddy.
That's what X program is for. It's designed specifically to meet them where they are, to talk to them in a relatable and authentic fashion. And if you use X program, you're 4 times as likely to be able to quit.
You've been vape-free for how long now?
For actually over a year now.
Kidd says what worked for her were tracking reminders.
I did not want to have to say to this little buddy in my pocket, yeah, we're going to have to restart.
She's now a paid partner to help reach a group that's quickly picked up e-cigarettes. Data shows 1 in 5 young adults age 18 to 24 is at risk of long-term nicotine addiction.
We know that once you're addicted to one substance, it also could lead towards other substance use and misuse.
It can be hard and can be rough. The best thing you can do is rely on a support system.
Influencing a change in behavior by sharing tools that can help. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
The Truth Initiative says only 3 to 5% of people are successful at quitting by going cold turkey. To learn more about the free program, you can go to truthinitiative.org. Well, Kansas City University's Joplin campus is officially welcoming its first class of anesthesiologist assistants, a program school leaders say is desperately needed. The new master's program was created to help address a growing shortage of anesthesia care providers in hospitals and surgical centers across the region and the country. The program launched after local health partners, including Freeman Health System and Mercy, identified anesthesia support as a critical need.
Significant shortages of anesthesia care providers, and with limits on anesthesia care providers, whether we're talking about anesthesiologists, nurse anesthetists, or anesthesiologist assistants, it limits the ability for hospitals and outpatient facilities to provide.
The inaugural class includes 24 students selected from more than 800 applicants. They'll complete 27 months of training before entering the field. Well, turns out our dogs are listening to us even more than we realize. A study in Hungary found while many dogs can learn words like sit or down, some gifted dogs can learn hundreds of words through playing with their owners. The study even found dogs can learn words by just overhearing them when their owner is talking to another human. That's a look at today's health news. A little later, job market slows as December sees only 50,000 new hires.
A passing cold front tonight, going to bring some cooler temperatures this weekend. We'll get a look at all that and more coming up in my full forecast. It's not a bad Friday. Started a little cloudy, then cleared up. Now we're going to have some clouds return heading into the evening and overnight. We got a weak little upper level system here that'll bring in the potential of just a sprinkle or two heading into the overnight hours. Temperature's going to be falling tonight. Cold front doesn't pass till after midnight, so that's when we're really going to start to see temperatures begin to fall. And we can see that here on our wind gust tracker as well. Heading into that midnight hour, winds picking up after 12 a.m., gusting anywhere from 20-25 miles per hour, then calming back down as we head into Saturday afternoon. Now taking a look at what we can expect for tonight. Well, by 10 o'clock, temperatures still in the 40s. Once this cold front passes here, that's where temperatures start to fall. You notice just a few light showers off to the north. A couple of those could extend down just a little bit further. A snowflake or two can't be completely ruled out, but we're not expecting any travel impacts or any accumulation that would affect any traveling for your weekend. So ground is way too warm for any saturation from that. But tonight, 33 degrees, going to be much cooler out there. A wintry mix can't be completely ruled out. Gusts around 25 miles per hour. Let's talk about dew points. So we talk about moisture and that helping precipitation. Our dew points showing things rather dry heading into the overnight into Saturday. Then we also look at our relative humidity. So the difference here is if you look at cold air and warm air. Warm air is a big sponge. Cold air is a small sponge. With a big sponge, it's going to take more moisture to fill that sponge. A small sponge is not going to take as much. So with colder air, the even little amount of moisture that we have, here we see our percentages in the 90s off to our north here. That's indicating that that smaller sponge is getting full. So this is telling us how close the air is to being saturated. So even with dry dew points are only in the 30s out there, that little amount of moisture, because it's cold air in the smaller sponge, it will fill quicker and more easily. So heading into the evening and overnight hours, that's why we could see a sprinkle tonight. For tomorrow, things clear up. 48 degrees out there, winds calming down. Sunday, we're down to 40 degrees, a little bit cooler, but it's also going to be a little bit more mild due to the fact that we're not going to see some gusty winds as well. So it'll be chilly, but it's also going to feel pretty nice out there. Here's our flow out of the northwest right now. Heading into next week, our flow is actually going to change out of the north, bringing in some cooler temperatures into late next week. You notice there by Wednesday. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast and what you can expect here. Back into Monday and Tuesday, we're back into the 50s, near 60 degrees Tuesday. A small little disturbance could bring an isolated shower. Heading into Thursday and Friday, we start to see temperatures start falling. That's our flow changing there. A look at our extended 10-day forecast. Snow showers possible Friday and Saturday here, a system that comes in. Notice the drop off in temperature there. Overnight temperatures, 12 degrees, Tanya, late next week. Man, that's chilly.
Yeah, we've been blessed with really nice temperatures for this time of year, and of course it's going to get cold, really cold.
No matter the precipitation, snow, rain, we could use it either way.
All right, well, it looks like it's coming. All right, thanks, Austin. Well, coming up, tax season kicks off January 26th with bigger refunds thanks to new tax changes. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics just released the December jobs numbers. This report is the first full economic data from the labor market since the government shutdown. CBS's Evan Moon spoke to analysts about what it means for Americans in 2026.
Employers added 50,000 jobs in December, ending an already weak hiring year on a low note. Bankrate financial analyst Mark Hamrick says it's a little lower than expected, but not a surprise.
Weighing on the job market are some of the things that have been present throughout much of the last year. Volatility, disruption, uncertainty.
There was one encouraging sign. The unemployment rate fell slightly to 4.4%.
The unemployment rate going down, that's welcome news, but it's up from where it was to begin the year, which was 4% in January 2025.
Just 1 week into 2026, we asked CBS business analyst Jill Schlesinger what the data means for the year ahead.
Just to remind everybody, it's 1 month, and the data have been a little bit wonky since the government shutdown. So let's not extrapolate this to mean everything for 2026. We might see some good months here and there, but there is very low expectations for the first few months of this year.
She notes big changes like AI will continue to shape the job market.
How companies were deploying AI, what jobs they needed, what they didn't need. I think as we come into 2026, these themes will persist.
And Mark Hamrick says that increasing prices will also likely continue to weigh on the economy.
Consumers are bummed out about the lack of affordability as they try to purchase things they want and need. And I don't think affordability is going to be dramatically resolved in the year ahead.
The December report already seemed to reflect a pullback with a loss of 25,000 retail jobs, noteworthy given the holiday season.
The Federal Reserve will weigh the labor market data when members meet later this month, likely reinforcing expectations they leave interest rates unchanged. Evan Moon, CBS News, New York.
And we don't have to wait long for more data on the U.S. economy. The latest inflation numbers for December will be released next Tuesday. The Internal Revenue Service says it will start accepting tax filings on January 26. Taxpayers could see a bigger tax refund this year due to major changes from the 2025 One Big Beautiful Bill Act. According to analysis from financial firm Piper Sandler, refund checks could jump by an additional $1,000. Taxpayers have until April 15th to file their taxes, though they can file for an extension to October 15th. U.S. trade deficit dropped to its lowest level in more than 20 years, bringing the overall gap to 39% and almost $30 billion. The Department of Commerce's delayed data shows October's imports fell more than $11 billion, largely attributed to new tariffs. At the same time, U.S. exports rose almost $8 billion. The news comes amid President Trump's aggressive tariff policy. Well, President Trump announced on social media that he's directing the federal government to buy $200 billion in mortgage bonds, a move he believes will bring down mortgage rates and home prices. It's part of the president's push to address Americans' concerns over affordability. Final check of the forecast is next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, the San Francisco mayor talks about the steps he's taking to solve the homelessness problem that has plagued his city. And then on KOAM News at 6, Missouri lawmakers tackle 700 proposals, including a plan to end income tax. Plus, Kansas legislators outline their agenda at a Pittsburgh Chamber send-off event. And in sports, Director Ryan Blank talks to referees about their unique fraternity. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and KOAM News at 6. Final check of the forecast?
Yeah, things are looking good heading into the weekend. Tomorrow we're going to be looking at 48 degrees. Going to be pretty nice out there. As we head into the later part of the weekend, it's going to be a little bit cooler on Sunday. We'll see temperatures right around 40 degrees, and then heading into Monday, we're back into the 50s, near 60 on Tuesday next week.
That sounds promising. I don't want the really, really cold ones yet.
Yeah, we got about another week or so before we run into some really cold temperatures.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and we'll be back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Have a great evening and an even better weekend.